Welcome back to Dan's On Fandoms. I'm Dan. The Rise of Kylo Ren comic series by Charles Soule provided Star Wars fans with an inside look at Ben Solo's fall to the dark side and transition into Kylo Ren. The series does an excellent job of showing the final moments and interactions that pushed Ben away from the light side and towards the dark side. If you haven't read the series, I'd highly recommend it. Check out some of our previous videos on the comic series. Amongst the interesting bits of lore the mini-series added to the Star Wars canon is the story of how Ben Solo killed his first Jedi. In Chapter 3 of the series, after searching for the Knights of Ren, Ben had arrived on the mid-rim planet Varnak with the hope that he'd be able to join their ranks. Before being able to join the band of Darksiders, the group's leader, Ren, informs Ben that he must be able to provide the Knights of Ren with a death, but not just any death, a good death. Ben proclaims that he's killed a Jedi, to which Ren states that he and his knights would love to hear this story. At this point in the story, Luke's Jedi temple has already been destroyed. Immediately following Luke confronting Ben in his hut, Ben had arisen from the rubble to see that the Jedi temple had been burned by someone. It's implied that the Knights of Ren were behind the temple's destruction, although it wasn't definitively stated. After 3 of Luke's students, Ty, Hennix, and Vo, returned from off-world, they see the Jedi temple burning. They're unable to sense Luke being alive and are only able to see Ben. Believing that Ben was behind the destruction of the temple, along with the presumed death of Luke Skywalker, the 3 Jedi students confronted Ben, blaming him for the destruction of the temple and Luke's death. Things quickly escalated between the 4 of them, and Vo attacked Ben. Reluctantly, Ben subdued the 3 students, fled the planet, and traveled to Snoke's sanctuary, which is a sort of floating vivarium possibly in the unknown regions. Once there, as Snoke had done over the years, he continued to corrupt Ben's mind and push him further towards the dark side of the Force, tasking him with seeking out the Knights of Ren to fully descend into the depths of the dark side. To find the Knights of Ren, Snoke tells Ben to begin his search where he last saw the Darksiders, which was years earlier in a Jedi outpost on the Outer Rim planet of Elphrona. Ben did as Snoke suggested and traveled to the far reaches of the Outer Rim, finding himself within the walls of the Jedi outpost once again. He hoped to find a clue on how to reach the Knights of Ren inside the outpost, the same outpost where Master Luke had encountered the group of Darksiders years earlier. Once arriving at the Jedi outpost, Ben was able to find what he came there for, the Helmet of Ren, which Ben used to contact him and find out that the Knights of Ren were on Varnak and will be waiting for him. But right as Ben was preparing to leave Elphrona to head to Varnak, the 3 Jedi students from earlier, Ty, Vo, and Hennix, had followed Ben and sought to stop him and make him pay, still believing he destroyed Luke's temple and killed Luke. The 3 students attacked Ben, and just like at Luke's temple, Ben was reluctant and didn't want to actually fight the 3 of them. Ben just wanted them to stop following him, but the 3 Jedi felt like they had no choice and that Ben had to be brought to justice. In an attempt to evade fighting the 3 of them, Ben used the Force to throw Ty backwards into a rock face, then Force jumped up a cliff. Vo, a student that seemed to harbor envious feelings toward Ben and his abilities, was clouded by her emotions at this point and followed after Ben, leaping up the cliff as Ben had. Hennix pleaded with Vo to wait for him as he didn't have the ability to force leap up the cliff as Vo and Ben had. As Vo chased after Ben, she chided him for betraying the Jedi, their Master Luke, as well as her and her fellow students. This enraged Ben, causing him to force push Vo off of the cliff in blind rage. After quickly coming to his senses and regretting what he had just done, Ben used the Force to grab Vo and save her from falling to her death. It took all of his strength to keep her from falling and dying. Being unable to see Vo's fate from his vantage point, however, Hennix believed that Ben had just force-pushed Vo to her death. Hennix then threw his lightsaber at Ben, resulting in Ben breaking his concentration on holding up Vo and instead using the Force to quickly push Hennix's lightsaber from hitting him before turning his attention back to Vo in hopes of preventing her from falling to her death. In his haste to save Vo, however, while trying to evade Hennix's lightsaber flying at him, he had unwittingly pushed the lightsaber back towards Hennix, killing the Quarren Jedi. Realizing the magnitude of what he had just done, Ben then used the Force to push Vo and Ty into the Jedi outpost, blocked the entrance with boulders and rocks, and then took off for Varnak. and that's how Ben wound up killing his first Jedi. As with many of the circumstances Ben found himself in during this comic series, the outcomes of Ben's actions were ones that he never truly wanted. Ben never truly wanted to leave behind the Jedi, his family and friends, or the light side of the Force, but Snoke and Palpatine had manipulated him for years and years, sowing seeds of darkness in the boy's mind, up until the point when Luke had sensed a darkness in Ben and faltered for the briefest of instances, resulting in Ben using the Force to protect himself from Luke and bringing his hut down on the two of them. Ben didn't destroy Luke's temple or kill Luke, but the other Jedi believed that he did, and Ben didn't truly want to kill Hennix, but the situation escalated too quickly and resulted in him trying to protect himself and unknowingly killing a fellow student that he had trained with for many years. I've mentioned this before, but Ben Solo / Kylo Ren has become one of my absolute favorite characters in all of Star Wars, and this comic series further cemented that for me. Seeing that hesitancy in Ben to truly turn to the dark side, while external forces continue to push him closer and closer towards it, makes his descent into the dark side feel so tragic and his return to the light side so moving and meaningful. But what are your thoughts on Ben killing a Jedi? Would you have liked to see things play out differently? Let us know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and would like to help out the channel, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to us. You can also follow Dan's On Fandoms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr, all at Dan's On Fandoms. Thanks for watching, and stay nerdy.